We have a whole series that we're going to be doing this year called All About with Alachua. Each one will have its own topic. We'll focus on the Jewish holidays, and then we're going to throw in some other fun things along the way, just parenting, how to bring the learning home, how to make memories with your children. So I hope you'll join us for each one. We'll always publicize it so you'll know when they're coming. So you'll see on your screen the beautiful Alachua Nazarenko. She's our Shalom Austin Education and Engagement Director. She has a master's in Jewish education. And here at Shalom Austin, she is in charge of so many things. She's in charge of our young family programming, our young adult division, leadership development, affinity groups, general education, and engagement initiatives. So sometimes you won't see Alachua, but she's behind the scenes helping all of the education groups. I know she definitely helps me, and I'm so grateful to have you this morning, Alachua, and look forward to learning more about Sukkot. I'll let you start.
Thank you. That was such a nice introduction. As Shireen said, I'm Alachua Nazarenko. I know some of you, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting all of you yet, but I've seen some of you at ECP drop off before. But it's always a real pleasure for me when I get to hang out with ECP families and get to collaborate with the ECP. I just think it's so much fun. So I appreciate you guys getting on with me today, spending some time with me today. I'm going to share my screen. Just one moment, please. Okay. Well, it's freezing, but just 1 minute. And we'll get you there. How's everyone doing today? What are the ages of your kids? Just so I have an idea of what.
Mine are 3.
3? Mm-hmm. Nice.
12 months.
3 and 5.
3 and 5. Nice. Okay.
Erica's 2.
Nice.
3 and 6 for mine.
Nice. Can everybody see everything? You guys see the screen?
Yes.
The big PowerPoint one? Cool.
We can see it.
Cool. Wonderful. Well, welcome. As Shireen said, this is all about Sukkot. We're going to talk a little bit about just kind of go over the holiday, what it is, what we do, what we say, etc., and then really talk about some ways that you can kind of bring it home to your families and do it with your kids, because it's a super fun holiday for little ones. And I think we can talk about ways to make it great at home, because it's a little bit different this year than it has been before. So I want to start by asking you a couple questions. So in the chat right now, if you would, I want to talk about what our relationship with Sukkot is. I'm going to put a couple things up on this screen, and in the chat, I just want you to type the corresponding number to the sentence that describes you. It's going to make sense in a second. But my relationship with Sukkot is I eat, pray, love, and even sleep in my sukkah. I call that a committed relationship with Sukkot. I will go in the sukkah if one is available. Say that's like dating. I once shook a lulav and an etrog because someone literally put them in my hands. Or Sukkot sounds cool, but what are these things you're talking about? So take a second, just the number that describes you. 2, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Cool. Okay, so it looks like we're all kind of like casually dating Sukkot, like dipping our toes in the water, Sukkot a little bit, which is great. So again, we're going to go over today just a little bit about kind of the basics. What is it? It's a refresher for some. It might be new for some people, but this is great. Yeah, one but not sleep. I'm there with you, Shireen. I'm not a sukkah sleeper either, but this is great. And I really encourage you, please type in the chat, speak up if you have something to say. This is, casual. There's a PowerPoint, which makes it seem very official, but I really encourage you to speak up and talk. I want to hear about your traditions and what you do with your family, so we can all just learn from each other in this. Okay. So first of all, Sukkot, what is this holiday? So like most Jewish holidays, it has a double meaning, right? Our calendar, our life is based on this, rhythm of the year. So first and foremost, it's a pilgrimage festival. It's for the fall harvest. But it has this double meaning where it commemorates when the Israelites were wandering in the desert after they got out of Egypt. They obviously didn't have their stable homes, and they were living in these temporary shelters, these Sukkot, these booths, which is how the holiday got its name. And the festival lasts for 7 days. And we're going to talk a little bit about how those 7 days are broken up because it's interesting. But the entirety of the festival is from 7 days, and that's from the Torah, and we're told that that's how long it's going to last. If you have any questions, please feel free to speak up. So what do we do on this holiday? So firstly, there are some people who will not work on the first and second day. We call these days Yom Tov, or the first part of the holiday. They have restrictions that are similar, although not completely the same to Shabbat. The reason why it's either first and second day is that oftentimes outside of Israel, people will celebrate a holiday for 1 day longer than they do in Israel because a long time ago, thousands of years ago, before there was a standardized calendar and when word took a little bit longer to travel, when, we couldn't just tweet something out and everybody knew it all at once, people were really nervous that if they didn't live in Israel, then they would miss it. They wouldn't know the holiday had started, so they would accidentally be working, they'd accidentally be doing all these things they were prohibited to do. So they added an extra day onto it just to be safe. And depending on the denomination, depending on the level of observance, etc., some people will observe 1 day or 2 day, but it's really a tradition that's stuck. Holidays and just Sukkot, but it's an interesting thing to know when you see, because you see it a lot, like the first day or the first and second day of a holiday are Yom Tov, and I think it's kind of a fun fact. We build and decorate Sukkot. We build and decorate the sukkahs, the temporary dwelling places. You're going to see some really cute pictures of what's been done in the ECP to create and decorate the Sukkot. They're just super cute. There are a few things that make a sukkah what we call kosher, so to follow Jewish law. Again, it depends on the level of observance, the denomination, how strictly people follow these laws, and they're building their own sukkah. But you'll often see a sukkah with at least 2 walls and part of a third wall. Most will have 3 walls and have 1 open. They'll be covered with schach. Can you say that? Say it to yourselves. So you don't spit on your screen, we won't know. So this word that is so difficult to say is the covering over the sukkah. It comes from the Hebrew verb to hover, so it hovers over the sukkah. It's created out of things that are cut from the ground. You'll often see bamboo or palm leaves being over the sukkah. It's supposed to provide enough shade, more shade than sun, so it feels like a house, it's where you're living. But you're supposed to be able to see the stars through it, so have enough gaps. And I was always told that that symbolizes that even when the world is really dark and things are really terrible, the light is still able to shine through. You can still see it through the roof. And then the walls can be made out of anything that you want. I mean, it's fun to build a fort with your kids, things like that, because as long as it can withstand the wind, that's what Jewish law says, you can build it. I'm just looking at the chat right now. Yom Tov, yes. So Shireen, you said fun words for schach. I had a friend who told me one time that he thinks that word is the way that Jewish people haze each other, and I've never forgotten that. So now everyone can consider themselves hazed by having to say schach, which I just think is funny. Neither here nor there, but just funny. We also, this is a little bit difficult right now. We're told to welcome guests into the sukkah. That's another reason why a lot of people will leave 1 wall open to create this welcoming, open environment for people to come in. And that goes back to when our matriarch and patriarch, Sarah and Abraham, would welcome people into their tent. Obviously, right now it's a little bit different. We might not welcome people into our sukkah as readily or as broadly, but there's been some really cute things I've seen, in addition to, people bringing their computers in and maybe having virtual ushpizin, guests come in. There's been cute art projects where, kids will make big posters of people and draw, this is my grandma, my grandpa, my aunt, and they hang them up in the sukkah. So it seems like they're in there with them. There's something in the chat. I apologize if I'm slower to read the chat. I have so many things open that I have to kind of close it and open it. So if I miss something that you say in the chat, feel free to also say it out loud. I'm fine being interrupted. Let's go. So what else do we do? We're supposed to dwell in the sukkah, right? Again, it's like a lot of other Jewish commandments, but there are a lot of interpretations of what that means. It's fairly open-ended, dwell in the sukkah. But the ways that different people have interpreted it generally are eating meals in the sukkah. People will eat, lunch, dinner in the sukkah. It's a festive occasion. Some people will even sleep in the sukkah, but not Shireen. She says, I do not sleep in the sukkah. People, again, will welcome guests into the sukkah, but generally just spending time in the sukkah throughout the week. And then we shake a lulav and an etrog. Has anybody ever shaked a lulav and an etrog before? Yeah, I see some heads. I see some. Someone said something in the chat. Yes, so people have done it. So you might also just hear it referred to as a lulav because a lulav is the main part of it. But it's the 4 species. So you have the etrog here. And then you have the palm, myrtle, and willow branches here. And this is actually something that I think is really cool to talk to kids about. So why is it the 4 species? What do they represent? So first of all, the 4 names of God, the way God's written in the Torah, 4 letters, 4 species. But then they also correspond to different body parts that are different attributes. So you have the etrog, which is the heart, so that's understanding, where your understanding is. You have the palm, long and straight, it's like a backbone. You have the willow, which is, enlightenment. You have eyes. You have the myrtle, which is lips, like prayer. So the service of prayer. So this is kind of cool. If you're talking to a kid and you're saying, like, look at your backbone. It's so straight, like, the palm. But look at your eyes. They're shaped like the myrtle, just to kind of look at it that way. People don't always think about it that way, but it's a neat way to look at this symbol of the holiday. And we're gonna shake it in a little bit, which is another fun thing to do, obviously, but this is what it symbolizes. And then the way we shake it all around us symbolizes both that God is everywhere, God is in all directions, and also that we are surrounded by this holiday. We're surrounded by this holiday of Sukkot, and this joyous time is all around us. Does anybody have any questions right now? I know I'm going fast. I want to make sure that I am respectful of your time.
You said the willow was like enlightenment. Was there a body part?
Yes. So the myrtle is enlightenment, it's eyes. And then the willow is your mouth, and it's like prayer, like your service of your lips.
Cool.
Which is pretty cool. Putting it down. I had this on the table this morning, and my husband was coming downstairs, and I was like, do not touch what is on the table. I just had this like image of it just getting like, why are there leaves on the table? So it survived. Great. So we're gonna shake it a little bit and talk about what you say when you shake it and how it all works soon. I promised you cute pictures of different Sukkot sukkahs around the campus. So here's the one. If you drop your kids off in front of the main JCC building, you'll see this one. It's out front. I think it's gone now. It's gone now, right?
They're taking it down today. Unfortunately, Usually we have quite a few Sukkot, but they're trying to make sure no one congregates in that, causing any issues. So they just set it up for a little while for us.
Just a little bit. So we have that cute one. And then in the various classrooms, they have them up, which is like, it's so heartwarming. They're all hanging out in the sukkah together. There's Shireen reading. So they're all around campus. So if you are on campus and you walk around, you'll see them. And maybe in your kids' classroom is where a sukkah is. There's the one in Dahlia's classroom. And you'll see, we'll talk about crafts to decorate, but they're all decorated with different easy things for kids to do to just make a sukkah look really special and really fun and inviting and exciting. Yeah, the pictures are super cute. I totally agree. They're just really cute. Okay, I showed you a lulav and etrog in person. I know there are some people who aren't going to be here, so I just also put a picture up of it. You can see the different parts a little bit closer, kind of understand a little bit more about what they represent. You can kind of see the body parts in them a little bit more. So there are different blessings we say for the different parts, the different things we do on Sukkot. The first thing that we do every time we sit in the sukkah, we recite this blessing for dwelling in the sukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'shev b'sukkah. Saying, blessed are you, God, who commands us to sit in the sukkah or to dwell in the sukkah, whatever that means for you, sleeping, eating, hanging, eat, pray, loving. That's what I kind of say to encompass it all. So what did we say? I've said a lot of different words today, like schach. But they're vocabulary words for different holidays. So I like to just run through them really quickly because sometimes you'll hear something on campus or in your kids' classroom where they might come home and say something. And just to kind of have it in your head, even if you don't memorize them, just kind of, buzzwords. So obviously, Sukkot, Sukkah, the name of the holiday, also it's the name of the structures, the temporary booths that we're dwelling in. Sukkah is, singular, Sukkot is plural. The lulav, the palm, myrtle, and willow branches we have. The etrog, the citrus fruit. It smells super good. The schach, I'm hazing myself. I'm making myself say it like 50 times. The sukkah covering. The ushpizin, it's actually an Aramaic word, and it's the guest, the welcoming guest, the value associated with Sukkot. And then Chag Sameach, happy holiday. You hear that a lot for a lot of different Jewish holidays, and Sukkot is no different. Well, I'm just checking the chat. Great. But that's not all we say. This is my Sukkot Say What slide. So I told you we were going to talk about how we break up the 7 days of the holiday and how the first 2 are Yom Tov. So there are things we can't do. They're Shabbat-like and there are restrictions and there are celebrations. But it's a 7-day festival, right? There's more to it than just those 2 days. And these remaining days are called Chol HaMoed, which literally mean weekdays of the festival or intermediary days of the festival, where we're still celebrating, but we're not restricted in the same ways as we are on Yom Tov. And on these days, we have a different greeting, which I think is super fun because you only get to say this greeting 2 times a year in these days of Sukkot and then in the intermediary days of Passover. So it's like special. So during this time, the time we're in right now, you say Moadim L'Simcha, which literally means happy times, but can be translated, as happy holidays. And then in response to that, you say Chagim Uzmanim L'Sason, which you're kind of repeating back like, yeah, it's happy times, woohoo. But really you're saying like, yeah, let's celebrate. We're super happy right now. It's just something that like I nerd out on. I think it's really fun and cool that there's like a holiday greeting for the rest of the holiday in the beginning. So if you hear Moadim L'Simcha, now you can say Chagim Uzmanim L'Sason back to them. And I actually wanted to show you something. I have a resource sheet that I'm going to give to you after this, but this song, I just want to play about a minute of it because it's so cute. This is Eliana Light. She's a musician, educator, and my friend from college who wrote this like just super sweet song for kids about this greeting. I'm just going to play, again, 1 minute of it just because it makes you happy. Just a second. Can you hear? Can you hear? You can't hear? Okay, hold on, we'll fix it. I think I forgot to share my sound and that is why. Okay, now we're gonna try. Can you hear?
Some of our holidays are 1 day long. some of them last for a week. We know that
Keeps stopping.
it's a holiday by the greetings that we speak. On Shabbat we say
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. On Rosh Hashanah we say
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
I'm trying to see you guys again because you went away. But can you hear it? You can't hear it? That's okay. It's a very cute song. I don't know why it's not playing through. Can you see it?
Not anymore.
That's okay. The point is, it's on the resource sheet. It's a super cute little song where she's talking about, like, these are the greetings we say, and it's a special greeting that we only say 2 times a year. Basically what I told you, but she says it in a more fun, sweet way than I did, because she's a musician and I'm not. Hold on, I'm going to share my screen again. Everybody, does anybody have any questions right now? Are you guys good? You with me? Yeah. Okay. So I'm stopping for a minute, just asking you a couple questions. I keep losing your faces and I'm not sure why now, but I'm trying to see you again, just a second. Where'd you go? Yes, I will send you the link to the song to share with them for sure. So my question for you right now is, have you done anything fun? I've talked about a lot of traditions that we do for Sukkot. Have you done anything fun for Sukkot? What are some things that you've done for the holiday?
I'll go. So my in-laws live in town and they often build a sukkah and we'll have dinner in there, usually in the backyard. Not this year because of the pandemic, unfortunately, but a lot of years, which is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Anybody else? Yeah.
I have an idea. I visited one sukkah that I thought was so beautiful, and what the family did is that they every year, and their children were only like 5 at that point, but they did handprints on the sukkah. So you saw the baby print, then you saw the next year as it got larger, and I was like, I would have loved to have done that. I have to pass that on to someone who still has really little ones, because you imagine, you know, and you could even do a flower with their handprints one year and put down the date, and the next year they could do a tree with their handprints. But it's so, I mean, that's, you can't replicate, you can't buy anything like that. I just thought that was so special, and it was part of their sukkah. That's how they decorated it.
Awesome. Anybody else? Bye, Jill.
My sister-in-law does an amazing sukkah every year. Unfortunately, she's in Georgia, and every year that I see it, I think, oh, I need to get everything together in time for next year and put one up. We have, like, historically just really relied on the J and the ECP for our celebration of Sukkot. But again, this year, I really want to make sure that next year I'm prepared.
I mean, that's a great goal. Yeah.
You can buy a kit if you
all
want
right
to just
after
make
that.
it simple.
Yeah.
I think I will need to.
Jessica, did you want to say something?
Yeah, we went to the Temple Beshalom sukkah and had a picnic lunch on Saturday earlier this week. So that's all we've really done so far. I have a 12-month-old, but I love that hand idea. Like, maybe I'll get that done today and just start a sheet or something for next year.
That's awesome. So that kind of leads into the next question, but is there something you've always wanted to incorporate, something that you haven't done for Sukkot, but you've thought about, and Karen and Jessica kind of started that conversation, but anything that you've thought of through this presentation or just thought of in general? Fill the sukkah. Nice. Same. I need to build a sukkah. Yeah, you know, you can use an existing structure. It's like, there are such cool pictures if you look them up of like Sukkot in Israel, where there are balconies, and every single one is a sukkah, and the balconies are actually scattered, so they're not like one on top of the other. It's like 2 balconies and then one, you know, like windows and doors, so everyone can see up to the sky through the roofs of their sukkah, which is really cool looking. Okay, so I promised you resources. I'm going to give you resources. So there are so many things you can do. You're already talking about crafts you can do. It is such an easy craft holiday for kids because anything they want to make, you can use to decorate the sukkah. Something as simple as paper chains or popsicle stick stars of David or the handprints like you're talking about can just make a sukkah look beautiful. Recipes, we do a lot of stuffed foods for Sukkot, our abundance of joy. And I'm going to give you a resource sheet. This is just a very quick overview. I'll put it in the chat. A lot of songs. I'm going to try one more time to play that song at the end because it's so cute. Songs to sing with kids. A ton of books. PJ Library has a ton of books. If you're signed up for PJ Library, we have a lot at the J. Throughout my house right now, you know, the best Sukkot pumpkin ever. Is it Sukkot yet? A watermelon in the sukkah, Sadie's sukkah breakfast. So a ton of books. And then more stuff, just a ton of things that you can do, you know, learning materials for how to say blessings or what to do in the sukkah. So I'm going to send right now, put it in the chat, a Sukkot resource sheet. Did that go through? Yes. Okay. So that's links. So it has kind of broken up into what you can do, what you can make, what you can learn, sing. It has the PJ Library resources, which is, they're amazing because they have everything all in one. So that is that. I just wanted you to have something tangible you could take away from this. So please, you know, click through, see what you can use. I wanted to highlight a couple of things. So the one on the left, this Who's in the Sukkah craft, I just think is super cute right now, especially since people aren't going into the sukkah necessarily. So this kind of goes back to the idea of like the virtual ushpizin, the virtual guests. Or just the kind of the, you know, the pictures of guests, you know, making something, who's in the sukkah, making a sukkah on a piece of paper, putting pictures of people in it, even if you can't build your own sukkah at home right now, or even if you're able to, but can't invite people in. I just think it's super cute. And the picture on the right is actually from ECP of kids making an edible sukkah, which is again, super cute and super easy and super yummy. And who doesn't like a craft and a snack all in one? I certainly do. So you can see it's easy. It's, you know, icing and graham crackers and pretzels and little, you know, little cereal pieces for the top. So those are just two craft ideas that I wanted to highlight because I think they're super cute. So I wanted to end today just with the shaking of the lulav and etrog and the blessing for it. That I thought was something we could all do together. So when you shake the lulav and etrog, you face east. I'm standing up. Facing east. I used the compass on my phone today to figure out which way was east in my house. So
That's so funny, Alachua. I'm like, I don't know which way to turn.
I had my phone and I was like, east, east, east. So just in case you guys were curious, this is east in my house. You pick up the lulav and the etrog. You hold the etrog at first with this part called the pitom facing down. You hold it in front of you and you say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al natilat lulav, which means blessed are you, God, who hallows us with the mitzvot, commands us to lift up the lulav. And then if it's your first time shaking the lulav and the etrog, which for me it is this holiday, thank you for giving me this opportunity. You say the Shehekianu, which is a blessing that we say for the first time we do things, the first time, like the first time we shake this, or special occasions. So you say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehekianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, God, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and brought us to this season. And we flip the etrog over, so this part, the pitom, is on top. Put them together. You shake forward, 1, 2, 3, back, forward, to the right, 1, 2, 3, back, 1, 2, 3, left, 1, 2, 3, up, 1, 2, 3, down, 1, 2, 3. And now we have done the mitzvah of shaking the lulav and the etrog. And again, I really hadn't done it this holiday yet, so thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that with you. That is how you shake it. Again, super fun to do with kids. Even just, practicing shaking without the lulav and etrog. Just what are the 4 directions that you do, the 6 directions, up and down. I just think the lulav and etrog is an easy way to get kids excited about the holiday. They like to move, shake a little bit. So those are really my big things. But does anybody have any questions? I wanted to be respectful of your time. We said 30 minutes. I think we did pretty well.
No one has any questions. I wanted just to comment, Alachua, I love that little guess who's in the sukkah craft. And I would just, it's a really nice idea for this weekend as Sukkot's coming to the end, especially if you haven't been able to create a sukkah. It's not that big of a deal. You can make those little mini ones. And you know how preschoolers love, especially little ones, love the Guess Who books where you open the door. So I love that. I can imagine creating several. I think Karen and Shayna shared that they are used to going to their families, but taking a photograph and having the child this weekend, it's easy with popsicle sticks, create that little craft, put it together as a book, and now you have your own Sukkot book you can take out every year, and you can say, let's see who's in the sukkah. So every page they open it up, and something you made together, I think it would be a nice memory for this year. Lots of fun.
Such an awesome idea. Thank you so much, Alachua. This is great.
You are so welcome. Thank you guys for coming. Here, I'm going to take one more minute and see if I can, just because it's so cute and it'll make you be in a happy mood after this.
Thank you, Alachua. Remember, Alachua is also our PJ library person. So if you have any questions or if you're not signed up yet, she's the one to reach out to. You definitely want to do that. PJ
See
library
if
is
you can
awesome.
hear this. Can you hear this now? Hold on. You hear sounds?
Some of our holidays are one day long. Some of them last for a week. We know that it's a holiday by the greetings that we speak. On Shabbat we say
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. On Rosh Hashanah we say
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. At Havdalah we say
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov. And on holidays we say
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. Except for the middle of Sukkot and Pesach, that's called Chol HaMoed. On those days we don't say Chag Sameach, we say something else instead. When I say Moadim Lesimcha, you say Chagim Uzmanim Lesazon. I say Moadim Lesimcha, you say Chagim Uzmanim Lesazon.
You guys get the point, but I just think it's so cute and a nice way to end our time because it's super sweet. But it's in the resource sheet too. The link to that song is in the resource sheet. So thank you guys again so much for coming.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Alachua. Thank you everyone for joining us this morning. And thank you for the resources. I'll share them also with an email later on, and we'll put up this recording so others can enjoy your class as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.